In the Arctic Circle, a pilot named Overgård was digging through the snow, almost as if he were drawing something. His uniform bore only his name, Overgård. He seemed to be the only survivor in this frozen wasteland. When he finished digging, it was revealed that he had written SOS in the snow, signaling that he was stranded in the middle of the Arctic and needed rescue. His plane had apparently crashed. The engine and wings were shattered. He had been trapped in the ice for days, struggling to survive in the freezing wilderness. To find food, he devised a way to catch fish. He drilled 3 holes into a frozen lake, each with a line and bait. This allowed him to catch fish daily and store them in an icebox. After eating, Overgård packed his gear and climbed up a hill to scout the area, hoping to spot a search plane or helicopter. For days, he had been mapping his surroundings and using a signal transmitter to call for help. The device worked by turning a crank, sending out a red light signal. If someone received it, a green light would appear. But that never happened. Every day since the crash, Overgård spent hours turning the crank, but no response ever came. As night fell, the cold grew unbearable. He would return to his crashed plane to rest and gather strength for the next day's fight for survival. The next morning, he checked the SOS sign, but first went to a small pile of stones nearby. There, he bowed silently. It was likely a makeshift grave for a companion who had died in the crash. After paying his respects, he returned to clear the snow from the SOS mark to make it more visible, hoping a pilot flying above might see it. When he went to check his fishing lines, they were all empty. Near one hole, he noticed a large paw print, a sign that a predator had been nearby. Terrified, Overgård ran back to the plane and locked himself inside until it was safe. When the danger passed, he climbed the hill again to operate the signal machine, but still no green light appeared. Looking around, his fears were confirmed. In the distance, he spotted a giant white polar bear roaming for food. With no other option, Overgård returned to the plane and went to sleep, resuming his routine the next morning. Days passed with no rescue in sight, and his fish supply began to dwindle. Exhausted, he was about to give up when suddenly the machine flashed green. Someone had picked up his signal. Excited, Overgård scanned the horizon and saw a helicopter approaching. He rushed to light a flare near the wreck to guide them. The helicopter spotted him and began to descend, but a violent windstorm hit, causing it to lose control and crash into the snow. Overgård ran to the crash site. The pilot was dead, but another passenger, a woman, was still alive, though badly injured in the abdomen. Using a first aid kit from the wreck, he stapled her wound shut to stop the bleeding. The storm worsened, trapping them inside the helicopter until it passed. After several hours, the weather cleared. Overgård checked the supplies, ropes, a climbing tool, and cups of instant noodles. After eating for days on fish, the noodles felt like a luxury. But he knew time was short. Another storm could hit any time. He took as much as he could carry and left a message on the helicopter. 2 survivors heading toward the crash site valley. He carried the injured woman back to his plane. When he asked her name, she barely understood him. She only said, "Pilot," asking about her companion. Overgård told her the pilot didn't make it. After making her comfortable, he returned to the crash site, buried the dead pilot beneath stones, and found more useful supplies. A map, a lighter, a small gas canister, and a portable stove. Among the wreckage, he found a family photo of the woman and the pilot with their child. He returned to the plane, placed the photo near her, and tended to her wounds. Using the stove, he warmed himself and studied the map. It showed the surrounding terrain and possible routes to safety. When he caught a large fish, he made fish soup mixed with noodles. Not the best meal in the world, but enough to keep them alive one more day. The woman, however, was too weak and grief-stricken to eat. Overgård gently convinced her, promising everything would be fine. Days passed. He kept sending signals, but no one answered. The woman's condition worsened. She coughed through the night and bled from her wound. Overgård realized she might not survive long. Heartbroken, he decided to leave her behind, believing both couldn't make it. As he was about to go, she suddenly grabbed his hand, a silent "thank you." That single gesture reignited his strength. He looked at the map again. The nearest settlement was several days away, but there was a shortcut through the mountains. It was risky, but he decided to try. He packed supplies, prepared the sled, and placed the woman inside a sleeping bag for warmth. On the plains wall, he left another message: 2 people heading toward the village. He tied the sled rope around his waist and began the long journey through the blinding white desert. The path was exhausting, and the wind fierce, but he didn't stop. At night, he dug small caves in the snow to rest. One day, he came across an old box buried in ice. It contained his old ID. It revealed that Overgård was part of a special aviation group called EA, known for testing advanced aircraft. Perhaps that was the mission that brought him to the Arctic in the first place. He continued his journey until a massive mountain blocked his way. Using the ice axe, he climbed, dragging the sled behind him. But the slope was steep and the weight too much. The rope slipped from his hands and the sled slid down. He had to take a longer route around the mountain. Later, he found shelter under rocks, cooked some fish and fed the woman. But that night, a roar echoed through the freezing darkness. A polar bear. Overgård grabbed his flare and ice axe, lighting the flare to scare it off. The firelight worked. The bear fled into the storm. The next day, they resumed their journey, but another blizzard struck. They huddled together inside the sleeping bag for warmth, buried under snow until the storm finally passed. Exhausted, Overgård's leg got trapped between rocks while searching for water, badly injuring him. Despite the unbearable pain, he pulled himself free and crawled back to the sled, and was shocked to see the woman still alive. Tears filled his eyes. He apologized for leaving her earlier, promising not to abandon her again. With what little strength he had left, he tied the sled rope once more and dragged her forward. His body was freezing, his leg bleeding, and every breath hurt. But he didn't stop. Finally, reaching the top of a ridge, he spotted a helicopter landing in the distance. Gathering his last bit of energy, he lit a flare and waved it desperately. But the rescue team didn't see him and began to leave. In one final act of willpower, Overgård lit another flare from inside his jacket and waved it furiously. The helicopter started to rise, then suddenly turned back. It landed near them. They were saved. Against the brutal might of nature, Overgård had defied death itself, not just for his own life, but to save another. His endurance, compassion, and will to survive had triumphed where almost no one could have.